stress. I want you try surviving on the public face, then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. They done drive no fear with the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment, and you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows, one set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clouds. Then you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every sector, but when it comes to them they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Barrett and Sue. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. I done fed up on the dirty water, low pressure, one scream.
Yeah, my name is Jacinty Caldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my ex next to the cup, and what they are doing today I can't take it, so I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.
Oh, Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
There and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jurong?
Su? Oh, Su? My relationship? Nothing. He is...
So it's in the rice price.
The rice price something to do with it. Talk to me, man, somebody. They don't talk to me, they don't tell me nothing. And you come out, people every week, okay.
How we gonna do a body man walk right now? You ready? Boxer, let me go now. Hear me sing now. Body walk, body walk, body walk, everything. Body walk, truck, body walk, body walk, body walk, everything. Body, listen. Body jump, body jump, body jump, everything. Body jump, body jump, body jump, body jump, everything. Hear me sing, son. Big body.
You said valid votes counts, votes cast must.
Hawk 2.
Good night. My name is Mark Benjab. Welcome to Straight Up. It's Monday. It's a holiday in Guyana. You know, almost every other day is a holiday in Guyana. There was last Friday was a holiday in Guyana. It was Good Friday. But even though from a religious standpoint, those of you who do celebrate that, It was a good day. But in general, Guyana is not as good as it used to be. And everything, almost everything in Guyana is corrupt and corrupt and corrupt and corrupt. That's what's happening in Guyana. You have a corrupt government. You have a murderous government. You have a government that doesn't care about the people. You have a disrespectful government. You have a racist government. And I'll tell you where they are so racist, insensitive, and they're heartless. They just don't give a darn. Now, take a look. The indigenous people of Guyana, we at one point in time, Guyanese described them as, and when I say the people of the indigenous people, I don't mean any disrespect to say them. Of course, my great-grandmother. Good. Having said that, so the indigenous people, whenever they had to address the United Nations, all of those participants were persons of indigenous persuasion, all of them. You cannot take me to go and represent indigenous people's rights. Now I can talk and I can represent, but when it comes to a forum, you've got to be careful. Now, who can represent an ethnic group more than that particular ethnic group? Whether it's indigenous, whether it's East Indians, whether it's Africans or Portuguese or whatever, you know what I mean, or Chinese. And so this corrupt PPP regime in Guyana, they decided at the forum, the United Nations Forum, on the discussion of persons of African descent. This corrupt PPP regime, they decided that they are going to send people who are non-African Guyanese. How disrespectful could they be? Come on. Come on. And then they want to say one Guyana, and then they say they love and Guyana. It's all about everybody in Guyana. We're not seeing the evidence under that corrupt PPP regime. The evidence is clear, though, that they do not mean to have Guyanese live in terms of one people, or motto, one people, one nation, one destiny. It's always a one-side affair. Look, I was in a discussion earlier with some folks, a mixture of all Guyanese, and we were talking, and the subject came up, that why when East Indian, Guyanese of East Indian persuasion, a male or female, if there's a big dance hall right now, a big open space, and some East Indian Guyanese girls and boys, but let's talk about the girls first. They go out and they start dance to a shabarangs and the wine and go down, or a Apache warrior, wine and go down and stop. Wine, jump up. All who never, flower gun, all of them. Now, learn to dance. All who never, learn to dance. And so forth and so on. You guys get the drift, right? The older East Indian Guyanese folk gonna say, look a story. Look how a gyal dance. A gyal dance like a she not get no good punchy. Look how she wind down like a one black. Right? Look a story. Them not get good. Eh? And then when the East Indian guys go to dance now, the older folks and say, look at that one. Look how you wind up. Look at that gyal back ball. Them not get no good. Eh? And then the East Indian guys, them now, the older folks, and say, look at G1. G1, you could tell G1. And look, Vishnu. Look how them a dance. Look at them a smoke dope. Yeah? Them a dope head. Look how them a dance. Right? It's reggae, it's a culture. Not, look, I can get up and show you guys the kind of dance that some of them people will say, look at Gita. Look at Sabitri. Look at Sumintra. Look at Drupati. Look how them a dance. Look how them a rub up on arm, pon den arm. Look how them a rub up on Keith. Look how them a rub up. Right? Them that get good. Them could get good. And the point I'm trying to make, right, is when it comes to that sort of embracing a culture that is Caribbean, a culture that is connected to African, so to speak, it's always something good. Look, Ogita. Look how she a wine up on Ben Shop. Look, she give Ben Shop back ball. You know what happened? Eh? You know what happened? 9 months later. Right. Sorry about that, guys. I get a little bit carried away. So now, but when this happens, and I'm going to show you guys what is this. When this happens, nothing else matters. It's the only time Guyana, look how Abby must live in unity. I saw Abby must live, man. This is how Guyana must be. Take a listen. Don't worry with the dancer. Just take a listen. Take a look and you'll understand where I'm coming from. So the point is, Shatman could do his thing, right? And so I was reading some comments under that post, under that dancing up and thing, and majority of the people were saying, this is what Guyana needs. That's exactly what Guyana needs. You see how people love each other? They respect each other, and it is consistent across the board. But the minute, that's because he's dancing to a nice Indian tune. Now, all of we screw the ball. All of we love screwing the ball. At least I do. And you should see me on the dance floor, especially at a wedding house and these things. I don't make joke, Vishnu and G1 and they can't beat me on a dance any one day, anytime. And so when these things happen, you hear about, oh, that is unity. That's how Guyanese must live. But you let Savitri and them dance up and wind up to reggae. Y'all get the drift, right? You let Savitri the dance up. Now look at them, see how them are. See how she wind up. Look how she wind up on Bencha. Look how she wind up on Neville. Eh? You know what happened? Eh? 9 months after that, you know what happened? But, and that is bad, right? That is bad that when you only see one way or embracing one culture as unity, but embracing the other culture is so wrong. Y'all got the drift already. Good night, and hope all of you guys are okay. What else happening? The Vatican is mourning. The Catholics around the world, they're mourning. And the passing of the Pope. The real Pope, the Vatican. I know a couple of years ago, Guyana get their own local Pope. Guyana get a local Pope. Guyana get a local Michael Jackson. All sorts of things local Guyana get, right? But this time around, Pope Francis has passed on. He has transitioned. And Pope Francis, he's one of a kind. He embraced things that other popes probably shied away from. And so this pope, you got to give this pope kudos. You got to give him kudos, regardless of how some of you feel about situations and these things. At least he stood up and he fought. He fought for the ordinary man, woman, and giving them rights. And he stood out against those priests that molest little boys and so forth. He spoke out. And so we got to give him kudos. He spoke out. So, Anthony John Harris. Let's please, sir. Thank you. So there'll be no distraction here tonight, please, Mr. Harris. Thank you so much. So to members of the Catholic community, we want to right here on 107.1 FM extend our condolences to the entire Catholic community. I don't know who's going to be the next pope. Is it going to be a Palestinian pope? Is it going to be the cardinal from Italy? Is it going to be African pope? Well, we've had African popes before in the earlier days, earlier centuries. So I think we do. It is time that we should have an African pope. I don't know how many of you guys think that it's going to get to that point that we could possibly see an African pope. And if there's an African pope, I wonder how Trump administration is. I wonder how Trump administration is going to view that and accept that, a black pope. How many of you guys know that there was a black pope before? And the other question is, how many of you guys would want to have a black pope? I don't know. What's going through your mind, guys? Talk to us right here on 107.1 FM. It's a holiday in Guyana. It's Easter Monday in Guyana. And so those of you who are in Guyana, a lot of folks have noticed they're on the seawall right now. They're doing their thing. And so that's what's happening in Guyana, and that's what's happening around the world with the Pope. And so we're looking at the possibility of a black Pope. I don't know. It will be interesting. It will be very interesting. At least I'd like to see a black Pope before I move on. And it will be a while before I move on, but I'd like, yeah, hopefully, yeah. And so I'd like to see a black Pope. What are your thoughts on these sort of things, guys? As we move away, we'll take a little break from the politics for a couple of minutes, and we'll talk about the possibility of a black Pope. And they usually have the smoke that comes out of the chimney. If it's a black smoke, then they cannot come to a decision. But if it's a white smoke, color smoke coming out of that chimney, they mean that they have chosen a pope. But what happens if there's a black pope that is selected, a black cardinal that's selected to be the next pope? What color do you think that smoke is going to be? Should that smoke be white or black? I don't know. Yes, Guyana had its own pope, indeed. But speaking of the pope, just hours after, the day prior to the death of the pope, guess who visited the pope? Take a listen. It's something. Guess who? Take a look.
Pray for you every day. God bless you. So good to see you. Good morning. How are you?
Find yourself.
Good. Yeah, thank you. Not been feeling great, but it's good to see you in better health.
Grazie, Santo Padre.
Thank you.
These are for your children.
Okay, thank you.
These are the gifts. These are also gifts for you.
Thank you. It's beautiful.
The Vatican tie, and then the rosaries for your wife, the white for your children, and the red one is for it. Thank you very much for your visit.
Of course. And thank you for seeing me. Pray for you every day. God bless you.
Io prego per lei ogni giorno, che Dio la benedica. Grazie, Santo Padre.
Happy Easter.
That's the Vice President of the United States of America, J.D. Vance, and we saw it all there. The Pope wasn't too happy. In my opinion, the body language and the facial expression of the Pope, even though the Pope, you could tell that he was in pain. But Clouds 592 is correct. I didn't know if Clouds 592 is that smart. Right. Good night to you. Clouds 592 says the Pope looks very uncomfortable, and that is so true. Vance or Clouds 592. The Pope looked very uncomfortable, and like he wasn't too into the visit. He wasn't too into the visit because there was so much. That the Pope was on the Pope's mind, maybe pain and whatever. I noticed Francine Cruz is coming, and this is not a night that we are going to be able with the Francine Cruz and her tantrums. Not tonight, Francine. So whoever sent you tonight, go right back to them. Francine Cruz is asking, what kind of evil program tonight, right? So I will leave you guys in the audience to take care of Francine Cruz before Francine Cruz get a hot, suspension for about a couple of days from Straight Up. Not a block, because Francine is getting a warning. Francine Cruz, if you want to talk about evil stuff, remember you got something hanging over your head. Bingo money that you're alleged to have stolen. Bingo money. And you don't want people to call you a bingo thief, right? I'm not going to call you a bingo thief. I'm not here to judge you, Francine. All I'm saying is let us keep it respectful right here on 107.1 FM. All right? At the same time, give my regards to all of your friends and colleagues at the nursing home. And be careful. Do not steal the people's bingo money. Having said that, we will move on with our program this evening. So since J.D. Vance visited the Pope and the Pope kicked the bucket the next day, how many of you guys would love for the Vice President of the United States of America to visit Guyana? And while visiting Guyana, maybe J.D. Vance could pay a visit to Barra Jagdeo. Pay a visit to Barra Jagdeo, shake his hands, and then pay a visit to Irfan Ali. How many of you guys think that that's a good idea? So we got to keep the trend going, We want to see whether this thing is good, whether it's going to be a trifecta, mind you. And you know what I mean by that, right? Let J.D. Vance go to Guyana and pay a visit to some of these guys and shake their hands. Go to Guyana, Vice President J.D. Vance. Take a visit to Guyana, shake their hands. Lots of people, we'd love to see the Vice President of the United States of America go to Guyana, shake their hands. Shake enough of them hands. Just go and shake their hands. Shake it. Just go and shake it. Shake their hands. Please, Mr. Vice President, go to Guyana. All right, what else is happening in your neck of the woods, guys? Talk to us. It's a holiday in Guyana. It's Easter Monday. Lots of people are on the seawall and they're having a blast. I've noticed some Guyanese, it's the usual thing. They go back to Guyana. They enjoy the Easter and kind of like that long ago feeling, quarantine feeling, Georgetown. It doesn't matter where. I recall as a youngster, a long time ago, if our operator can take this monster, since we talked about youngster, long time ago, under quarantine, we visited number 63 beach. We call it a beach, but it's really the Atlantic Ocean and the water, brung, all sorts of things floating there, but we don't care. We had fun, lots and lots of fun. 63 beach. Lots and lots of fun indeed. I'm gonna be quiet. All right, so happy Easter Monday to all of you. I noticed that there was something in Guyana, and the Guyana police force, again, not good news for these people. I want to show you guys a video of how they treated some vendors there. People had to stop instead of getting their goods, whatever it is that they were selling. transported right there. Let the trucker, let the minibus or whatever gonna drop off the people's generator, the goods, whatever. The police just blocked everybody from doing that and allowed, according to what I heard, their favorite to just enter. Listen to the cry and the complaint of this woman here, and you'll see what's happening in Guyana. Sorry, not that. We're done with that, right? Shartman. But we're done with that. Take a listen to what transpired and how the people basically upset.
Mark, look, I still sit down out by Camp Street, me and my nephew, waiting for my daughter and others look my generator thing. My nephew just carry in a cooler and just come back out to tell he take a rest. You know, waiting on my daughter them to come, so you know you got more people to watch this stuff because you got fetching piece by piece. Hopefully it change soon. I just praying. Meetings.
So the lady was just, the police, they were just heartless to her. She showed her generator, she showed everything, and they allow their friends and their maybe family members or somebody who gave them some sort of a bribe. But the lady who worked hard, who has her stand set up there, she just couldn't take her generator in. They had to fetch it, and who's going to help her? And while she's losing business, and take a look and you'll understand why they did that to that woman.
Mark, look, I still sit down out by Camp Street, me and my nephew, waiting for my daughter and others look my generator thing. My nephew just carry in a cooler and just come back out to tell he take a rest. You know, waiting on my daughter them to come, so you know you got more people to watch this stuff because you got fetching piece by piece. Hopefully it change soon. I just praying. Meetings.
Yeah, and so what the lady is saying there, hopefully it change soon. Y'all know exactly what she meant by that, right? Hopefully the situation changes very, very soon. And we've got to hope, and not just hope. We got to do more than hope, not just pray. We got to do more than just pray. You guys have to go out and vote these vagabonds out of office. You've got to do it. Forget about what my friend Trini is saying. Trini ran into some Chinese stuff, and here is where the brainwashing is coming. I don't know where Trini found this stuff. Trini Walls, right? If he's watching, or somebody tag Trini Walls, so that whoever manufactured this thing, it's not working. It's a fraud. Tell Trini Walls that this is a fraud. Take a listen.
This is nice. Will we get a fair and square election this year? Will PPP win the election? Does APNU stand a chance in going back in power? Ever? Jesus, this is nice.
Where do these guys come? Take a listen to this thing. It's a comedy, by the way. Comedy, and it's a fake product, a fake Chinese product, because we know that that is not true, right? But where Trini Wall, somebody tag him. Where did he find this stuff from?
Jesus, this is nice. Will we get a fair and square election this year? Will PPP win the election? Does APNU stand a chance in going back in power? Ever? Jesus, this is nice.
Now, don't allow that to hurt you guys' head up, right? Here's what you should read into that. The first question was whether there will be free and fair elections. And right off the bat, there's no. Even the Chinese product know that there's not going to be free and fair elections. No free and fair elections. And as long as there's no free and fair elections, y'all know what the PPP doing there, right? They're rigging the system. So Trini Walls has a point. Y'all don't vex with him. He has a point in terms of the free and fair, or that nail, that Chinese nail. You saw how it bent? Good. Take a listen. And so if the opposition guys don't get their act together, the PPP is going to rig the elections again. Even the Chinese nail is saying that. Look at how the nail twists up. Well, we're talking about the nail, mind you, not that photograph there when we say twist up. But take a listen again and understand the reverse psychology here.
Jesus, this is nice. Will we get a fair and square election this year? Will PPP win the election? Does APNU stand a chance in going back in power? Ever? Jesus, this is nice.
Jesus, this is nice. But the first nail is what is important. Y'all don't attack Trini Walls. Trini Walls knows what he's doing. So don't attack him. Right? Don't attack Trini Walls. You know? Because he asks for the first nail, and then when the first nail go down, it bend up. And so he said, oh, Jesus Christ, this thing ain't look good. Because he's correct. It doesn't look good. Because the PPP wants to, well, he's not saying it. I'm saying it. The PPP wants to rig the elections. Right, Francine Cruz? Francine Cruz in the audience talking about Christianity. And we talking, it's like, why Francine Cruz and others just don't go and form their own show. All they talk about Christianity, 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 Christianity. And I know exactly what Francine Cruz is setting herself up for tonight. Trust me. Not bingo money, but I know exactly what Francine Cruz is setting herself up for tonight. But let's stay focused, guys. So and I know it's hurting Francine and them. You know, when you put these this might be a future pope. This African cardinal might become, he's ninth in line or whatever, or not in line, but he got 9 votes, I think, out of about 30 something, a mock vote, so to speak. And you have to have, I think, 34, 35. And we want to be able to, we got to discuss these issues. You know, Christianity or Christians are not bad people. They're good Christians, just like they're good people and they're bad people. They're good Catholics and there's some worthless Catholics. There's some good Muslims and there's some worthless Muslims. There are some good Hindus and there are some worthless Hindus. In every religion, you'll find that they are good and bad people. So we here at 107.1 FM, let me repeat again for the likes of Francine Cruz, we are not going to condemn anybody because of their religion. We are not going to do it at all. Right, Keeping Francine? We are not going to do it at all. So let us stay focused, guys. So let's get back to GECOM. GECOM, whatever happened to this lawyer? Notice how they pushed this lawyer out because this lawyer wants to do the right thing. This guy, De Silva, wants to do the right thing. Claudette doesn't want to do the right thing. Those other senior guys at GECOM do not want to do the right thing, or even if they so wish to do the right thing, they are controlled by the PPP. So whatever Jagdeo and Irfan and these guys in the PPP say to them, that is exactly what they are going to do. So Claudette Singh is not her own man. That sounds a bit weird. That sounds a bit weird. But it is true. Claudette Singh is not her own man. I didn't say she doesn't have her. That's none of my business. So I don't want people to misinterpret me and call Claudette Singh and tell her what I didn't say. All I'm saying is that as chairman of GECOM, Claudette Singh is not her own man. As simple as that. That is all I'm saying. I'm not saying anything else. She is not her own man. Those of you should read between the lines is that she's taking orders from Jagdeo, from the PPP. That is what this is about. But the lawyer gave Claudette Singh, I think, 48 hours, of which she should apologize. I'm not sure if she apologized or not. I'm just not sure whether she apologized or not. But she is not going to apologize. Somebody should tell De Silva, the lawyer, that Claudette Singh is not going to apologize. And this is what De Silva is saying. According to news source, De Silva insists GECOM, which is the Guyana Elections Commission, was aware of all legal filings, threatens legal action against chairman and CEO over falsehood. We have not heard anything from the lawyer as yet. And I'm wondering, as at this point in time, whether the lawyer is quiet because they reached out to him and begged him not to carry on this public spat, not to fight GECOM. And so they may have settled this thing privately. They may have settled this thing privately. That is why we are not hearing anything from De Silva at this time. I hope I'm wrong, but I hope De Silva can come out and expose what is happening at GECOM at this time under the PPP-controlled Claudette Singh. The other two opposition representatives, Charles Corbyn, and I think it's Desmond Trotman, we need to hear from them as well. Now is the time for the opposition representatives, Trotman, Alexander, and Corbyn, to speak out almost twice a week. We need to be hearing from those guys as often as possible. Because when the PPP, when they were in the opposition, every single week, probably twice or thrice per week, the PPP representatives at GECOM, at that time it was Bibi Shadiq, it was Robeson Ben, and it was Gunraj. Every single week they had 2-3 press conferences. But the opposition representatives, we're hardly seeing them. You'll hear from a Vincent Alexander. Some of you might argue and say, okay, as long as one person speak out, it's okay. No, it's not okay. All three of them should hold press conferences twice a week. They should have had a press conference talking about this situation with the lawyer. All three of them. The people of Guyana need to hear from all three of them. And I don't want anybody to say, oh, Vincent Alexander speaks and that's it. No, it's not. That's not it. All three of them, we need to hear from them. Every single one of them. Corbyn, Trotman, and Alexander. Not just Alexander alone. And that's just my take. Now let's go to Linden. Mackenzie Linden. Over the weekend, in fact, yesterday, Londoners buried 2 young men. They bid them goodbye. The guys were all over the streets. They were carrying the caskets. And it was sad. 2 young men murdered by agents of the corrupt PPP regime, murdered by policemen. And we're not hearing any sort of justice coming the way for these guys. In order for them to be charged, you don't have to have an RSS to go in to conduct any sort of investigations, because the RSS investigation is not independent. And so the first young man that was murdered, that cop should have already been placed before the court. Story done. The DPP should have already advised charges against that cop and his accomplices in that getaway minibus. We saw everything. We saw when the young man was shot, he was dragged and dumped into that vehicle. Those individuals, including that cop, should have been charged already. You don't have to sit and wait for RSS to come and conduct an investigation and then, no, that is stupidity. Why didn't they call the RSS when Orrin Boston was murdered? They knew exactly that they had to charge and they had to be protest first before they, and now they brought in the RSS in order to slow things down in Linden. and to divert attention. So they brought in these guys as quickly. They call up their friends them in the area and say, hey, come on, quickly. And then they mixed up some of these so-called investigators at the Office of Professional Responsibility or whatever. All of those guys at OPR are policemen and women, either serving members of the Guyana Police Force and former members of the Guyana Police Force. And that is what OPR represents. Police investigating police. So by the time these guys from RSS showed up to do the government's bidding, the corrupt PVP regime's bidding. Now, I don't know any of those RSS officers personally. However, the history of those RSS folks going to Guyana is not a good one. They go to Guyana and cover things up, and then they rush back to wherever, and they sit and they enjoy whatever it is. They probably talk about some strong rum them drink when them there in Guyana, right? Strong rum them drink, and all sorts of things. Strong rum them drink. And then they probably go to Baroom Bar, which, by the way, if any of the RSS, and if they don't know Baroom Bar, somebody in the audience tell them what is Baroom Bar. But you can't say that to people who have been out of Guyana 50, 60, 70 years. They wouldn't know what's Baroom Bar or Red Dragon. And so when they go and they enjoy themselves, there's nothing positive to report. There is no justice. And so what they are going to do, they probably already concluded their investigations and they handed it over to this crapo here, Robeson Ben, who sits there as the installed Minister of Home Affairs. Do you guys remember the last report that the RSS came and they did an investigation? And this was the paper shorts. I believe it was the paper shorts murder, Quindon Bacchus. Either the two, maybe Quindon Bacchus. And sorry, they also came for paper shorts murder. And when the RSS officers were in Guyana, the main guy that they should have investigated, that they should have, I'm not talking about the suspect, Azruddin, what's his name, Azruddin Mohammed, and his security guy named some Mark. This is the guy, Mark Richmond. No, I'm not talking about them, right? But the whistleblower for the Guyana Police Force is a detective sergeant by the name of Boscombe. And Boscombe was never interviewed. He was never interviewed by RSS. The RSS went in, cooked up their stuff, and they left. That was it. They left. Thomas Anderson, welcome. Looking for you all day. Thomas is busy. He's busy now, doing a lot of things. We're glad that he's feeling better. Maybe tomorrow night we'll have Tom Anderson to talk a little bit. And we'll have our executive producer reach out to Tom Anderson. Good night. We're glad he's feeling better. But Tom does so many different things these days. But he still finds the time to be on with us. So back to, and so when the RSS left, y'all know what Robeson Ben said, right? If y'all recall. Robeson Ben said that he cannot say what is in the report. He cannot at this time, and he kept delaying it. He says he cannot say what is in the report, but only when the time is right. And so this time around, the report is already out. Why is it Robeson Ben or Irfan and these guys in the PPP regime? Why do you suppose that they're not going to tell you guys what that report says as of now? They're going to try to hold it back because starting this Friday is Linden Tongue Week. And some of the Pakus there in Linden who call themselves leaders are part and parcel of this conspiracy with the PPP regime, you know, to hold things down and to let it die down, let the people calm down. And then next Friday, this Friday coming, They're going to get a big bubble session and all these sort of things in Linden. So the people bury their dead, they bury their loved ones, and then they're waiting for a couple more days so that this big bash is going to start in Linden. Friday, wash down, black dance, this dance, all sort of things. And so some of the leaders of Linden are not interested in justice. They're interested in promotion and promoting dance and wind down, wind up, skin up, sprawl up, and joke. You know, they get a song called joke, whatever, you know. And that's what they want. And then when that is done and some of them make their little profit, some of them enjoy themselves, they enjoy the little backballing, they enjoy the little joke, and so forth. And they feel that Linden is back to square one because the people mourning in the midst of mourning, they gotta enjoy themselves. That's what some of those Paku leaders, that's the message they're spreading. And they believe that people are Pakus, they believe so, and that people are going to buy into their stupidity. When they're doing the bidding of the corrupt PPP regime. I say this to say, because majority of people are of the view that Linden Tongue Week should not take place this Friday. It should be postponed. But some of those Paku leaders in Linden, they put money first. They talk about money, they're going to lose money. You know, that's why when Conan Marshall, known as the highlighter, I don't know how many of you watch him, but that's why sometimes when he plug out on them in Linden, them leaders in Linden, you got to sit back and you got to just enjoy the plugging out. Because sometimes he's got to plug out on these guys. Right now, I want to plug out on them too. Because they're making people Pakus. And that is why when you put people into positions, they must have some sort of quality. You know, not any orangutan you take and put into positions. Because that's what some of them are, orangutans. They don't understand politics. They don't understand justice. They don't understand a struggle. They keep mixing up everything. And the people in Linden right now, they need a little swank. They need a little wash down. Sporting, little music and dance and wash away the miseries. And then when we take a pause from this struggle right now, and then we dance up a little bit, and then when we done dance up, joke, right? And then when we done joke, the political enemies, they catch themselves back to repeat the same thing what they do to y'all in Linden and other places. That is what happened. That is what happens. Somebody who's at the Mitchell says she heard my name calling on the Blue Lake. Well, what is he for me there at the Blue Lake? What they calling my name about? What is it? Shamir Rahmat, how are you, my brother? Right? And so, again, I'm saying there's no need at this time for the Linden Tongue Week. I ain't supporting nobody for no Linden Tongue Week. Nothing, not even a sweet drink. Not even a mobby. Because now is not the time for sporting. I don't know how many of you guys agree with me on that or not, but that's just my opinion. The other thing now, at the funeral yesterday, not a single corrupt installed PPP government official was out there. Did you guys see any official? We're not talking about the little shrimps and the little Pakus, some of them that they have in Linden, like the Sharda midget one. We named the Tom Klong. No, we're talking about, was Mark Phillips there? And Mark Phillips is originally, he's from Linden, you know. Was he there? No, Mark Phillips wasn't there. But yet, if Mark Phillips turn up now for the opening of Tongue Week, you're going to see Mark Phillips might go there. The people should boo him, chase him. Onesh Waldron, installed Minister of Tourism, might go down there to open up the Tongue Week. And some of these Paku leaders or so-called leaders in the opposition that are up there in Linden. I'm talking about the ones in Linden. Some of them, not all of them, I'm painting with the same brush. Then they're gonna rush to shake. They're gonna shake hands. You know, they get one. Them love to shake hands. You know, the minute you blink, you ready for shake hand. The minute you blink, you ready to take off inati or dread or whatever you call it, or weave or whatever, and shake it as though he's Jesus Christ in flesh and blood. You know what I mean? You guys know where I'm getting at, right? And every time there's a struggle, they basically try to stymie this process, weaken you. They weaken you. And I don't know what Irfan Ali did or whatever, but you notice since he gone there, some of them leaders, them so-called leaders in Linden, like they get weak. They gone in the shell. They stop talking about the struggle. And all they're talking about now is tongue weak. Tongue weak is more important than justice. And they're trying to camouflage this thing, right, Gary Greenwich, by saying, well, we got to step back, you know. We got to step back, you know, and allow due process. How the heck you step back in a... Well, what does an investigation has to do with continuing with the struggle? There's no need for people to come out the street and we got to step back, you know. These are people who didn't even understand what the struggle is all about. But they're telling you, they're lecturing you. Well, you got to step back, you know. You got to step back, you know, and allow due process. When you hear some of those stupid comments from so-called leaders, you want to know. Anyways, I ain't going to say what I really want to say. But y'all read between the lines. Anyways, I stretch my hand out, man. Let me shake hands and done tonight, right? Because every minute is a shake hand. Every minute is a shake hand. Like since that particular one born, so as he come out his mother's womb, so as he exited, he just looking around for people in the hospital, Mackenzie Hospital or wherever he was born, shake hand. Hey, Marla Alcock, shake hand. Diane Mitchell, shake hand. Ann Lewis, shake hand. Francine Cruz, not forget about Francine Cruz tonight, man. I don't know. But getting back, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the tongue week. How many of you guys believe, honestly, that the tongue week should be postponed? How many of you guys? How many of you guys believe that tongue week should be postponed? How many of you guys? And there should be a campaign to put tongue week off. Now is not the time. I repeat, now is not the time. Now is not the time for that. Absolutely not. Oh, Father. We'll take a break, man. We'll take a break and return and wrap up tonight's program. But we got to take a break. I'll be right back.
Can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours a blackout and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%. Get your give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public base. Then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up. You done fed up. He done fed up. She done fed up. We done fed up. The people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup. Look how evil set up. The people fed up. They don't drive no fear with the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment. And you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows. One set to girls and banner. Cause I done fed up. You done fed up. He done fed up. She done.
Everybody fed up. Everybody fed up. Even the people who are vending along the seawall. I just got a few messages, a voice note from someone saying it's the same thing. It's the same thing, you know. Anyways, let's welcome another individual who's the opposite, the male version of Francine Cruz. Same thing, bingo, people. Conrad August, watch out for him in the comment section. He's here tonight. Conrad August is the male version of Francine Cruz, and y'all know exactly what I mean by that. The male version of Francine Cruz. Y'all be careful with Conrad August. We have Nigel Eliakim. That's Apostle Nigel Eliakim. Good night to you, sir. Let me see. Apostle Nigel Eliakim. I know he is smiling because of the pronunciation. I am getting it correct now. Yeah. Apostle Eliakim, actually, congratulations. He has a granddaughter now. He feels he's the only grandfather in the world. Congratulations to you, Apostle Eliakim. Only grandfather in the world. I tell you, some Guyanese in there down here. But let me also take this time out to extend condolences on behalf of all of us here on 107.1 FM on the passing of your brother, Apostle. His brother passed away and was buried the other day. But here is what Apostle Nigel Eliakim is saying here. Me, meaning that he is of the view that the tongue week should be postponed. What is there to party? And this is what the Apostle Eliakim is saying. What is there to party and sport about when our people are murdered and the PPP shows up with the same old nonsense about thorough investigation? Thank you. Well said. I want to repeat this again from Apostle Nigel Eliakim. He says he believes that tongue week should be put off, postponed. And he continues, what is there to party? He's speaking on behalf of all of us. All of us, when he says, what is there to party and sport about? That's the question. When our people are murdered and the PPP shows up with the same old nonsense about thorough investigation. Good point. Good point. I agree with you, Apostle Eliakim, 100%. And for those of you, Apostle Nigel Eliakim is the same Nigel London Eliakim. All right. And so I agree with you, Apostle. What is there? But they have, and Sheldon Huntley is correct also, all of you are agreeing. Now, they have some of those Paku, so-called leaders in Linden, who are going to tell you, oh, no, don't worry, Ben Shop, don't worry, Nigel Eliakim, don't worry them, they don't know. And they try to Paku people, you know. Some of them think people that gullible. Some of them didn't even know what's going on, they're sailing. But they just want to Paku you guys and make you guys believe that putting aside the fight for justice, because you got to get due process. One of them saying, you know, he knows who he is. If he is, he come in the audience and says he. Because me calling his name because y'all already know how Dominic is. Y'all over the place, right? And so, yeah, we got to get due process. And let me put that on hold while there is due process. And if we get due process, what? If you can get due process, what? The people already off the streets, they're off the bridge. What? What? What next? Who gonna bell the cat? What next? Just talk, bluff all the time. And some of them new to this thing here, they don't understand the struggle and they're just bluffing the people of Linden. I don't think that the people gonna hit back the streets like how they did the first time around, you know. Because that strength and that energy would no longer be there. Because the PPP has a way of when they move in and they use some within your midst there to let this thing die down. All sorts of things going to be offered up. Been there. Been through it. Experience it. 2001, Donna McKinnon murdered in front of Freedom House. Minutes after we started a big protest. Big protest. Stand up and fight. And guess what? A couple days after, when Waddle and I looking around for the family members of Donna McKinnon, we can't see the family members. We call them on the phone, and even want, Mr. Mark, we ain't coming out today. until somebody else in the family called me and waddle and say, man, little money pass. I'm not being disrespectful to the family members and the surviving kids and so forth of the late Donna McKinnon, who was brutally murdered. I'm just talking facts. That the PPP paid them off 5 million Guyana dollars or something like that amongst a couple well kids. And that's it. That's the end of justice. And that is what the PPP does all the time. All the time. All the time. I hope that that's not the case in Linden. Again, this is not being insensitive or disrespectful to the family members. But the PPP has a history of doing that. All they look for is a little paku. A paku with some sort of influence with the family. Any family, when these things happen, they look for a paku. A soft paku that is able to go and say, man, such and such, blah, blah, blah. Let me come out the thing and let me tell the people that thing and thing. And they get one or two Paku leaders who are like that too, who are part and parcel of this gimmick, who are part and parcel of this conspiracy. Don't let them fool you guys. I don't know. Something is definitely wrong. Not just in Linden, the leadership, not just that, but something is wrong throughout the country. It's like the people have been beaten into subjection. And it's been going on for a while now. For a while now. You get the cemetery, a waste turned into a garbage dump, and the people did nothing. Way back in 2007, 2008, 2008, 2009. Way back then, people just did nothing. It's like they put their hands up and they surrender to the political demons. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Monday, it's Monday, Easter Monday in Guyana. People are complaining on the seawall, all manner of things. And then you get some overseas-based Guyanese go out and they're going to drink up, they're going to sport up, and they're going to play some nice little old-time reggae. Alu never, learn finance, and whatever else. And they're going to drink a couple of Banks beer. They're going to say, hey, Guyana's sweet, Guyana nice. When they leave, they're just there for a week. They're just there for a couple of days. And they're drinking and they're enjoying themselves, nice music. But the people there don't think Guyana is nice. Not in that sense. It's a beautiful country. But the politics sucks and there's no improvement. People are not being empowered the right way in that country. And there's a serious problem. That's a serious problem. You have to fix it. Hopefully this elections will fix it. Well, I'm being optimistic, right? Good. Hopefully we'll fix it. And hopefully by then those guys in the opposition will get their act together. I'm seeing some mistakes, but hopefully they'll get their act together. Reality will kick in all around. Reality. Some of you read between the lines what that reality is. Otherwise, you can't eat the dinner. Enough said on that. Conrad August, I saw your post. There's only one disagreement with your post. Guyana needs, you got to get quality people, man. You can't just put kunumunu, folks who have no respect for persons of African descent, and suddenly see them as an opportunity to use them as political pawns and bait. Outside of that, it was okay, Conrad August. But to all of you, continue to enjoy your Easter Monday. I'll see you back tomorrow right here on 107.1 FM. And, we'll continue. Tom Anderson is going to be with us tomorrow night. And maybe Wednesday night we can have Apostle Nigel Eliakim. You see him? Remember the name. Thank you so much, Apostle. And to all of you, thank you so much as well. God's richest blessings, and continue to pray for your country of birth. Those of you who are outside of Guyana. Quickly before I go, I noticed, oh no, forget it. You know, forget it. I don't want to annoy anybody tonight. I'll let it slip by, but tomorrow night, you guys remind me. You know, whoever Sheldon Huntley is, Sheldon Huntley seems like a bright banner, you know. Can be related to Francine Cruz. Bingo, alleged bingo thief. Basil Bradshaw, good night to you. So Sheldon Huntley is saying they have plenty lick bottom on the cover, of course. I agree with you, Sheldon. Lots of you got to watch out for some of those snakes, you know. You got to watch out for some of those snakes. But I'm out of here. I'll be back tomorrow, same place, same time. God bless all of you. And until then, why don't we just bust a dance, right? We bust a dance. And let me just say that the short guy, the midget that is dancing, the short guy, I don't want to say midget, politically correct, you know. Got to love the brother. But let me just say the short guy is not the town clerk of Linden. He is not whatever that town clerk name. I don't even know his name. But can't remember his name. But that is not him that is dancing here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time. So long.
This is nice. Will we get a fair and square election this year? Will PPP win the election? Does APNU stand a chance in going back in power? Ever? Jesus, this is nice.
You probably won't believe it, but I'm actually a virgin at age 21. I never slept with a woman, I never had a girlfriend, I never even kissed a woman. And it's not for religious reasons, and it's not because I'm waiting for marriage. Let me tell you about it. So I grew up in a very conservative... You probably won't believe it, but I'm actually a virgin at age 21. I never slept with a woman, I never had a girlfriend, I never even kissed a woman. You probably won't believe it, but I'm actually a virgin at age 21. I never slept with a woman, I never had a girlfriend, I never even kissed a woman. And it's not for religious reasons, and it's not because I'm waiting for marriage. Let me tell you about it. So I grew up in a very conservative village, and people don't really appreciate you thinking differently, right? So I didn't have a lot of social contacts, not with girls, just with like a few of my friends. Eventually I started my travels, eventually I reached Trinidad, like my TikTok blew up. And yeah, all of a sudden I got all these attention from girls, like a bunch of girls trying to sleep with me, like DMing me, even like sometimes in person, especially in the ghettos, girls are like really straightforward.
Walking on the white.
Okay.
I love fucking white.
But I feel like, especially in the Caribbean, I get really...
Yeah, my name is Jacinty Caldata, Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter. And I always place my ex next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.
Oh, Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
How we gonna do a body man walk right now? You ready? Boxer, let me go now. Hear me sing now. Body walk, body walk, body walk, everything. Body walk, truck, body walk, body walk, body walk, everything. Body, listen. Body jump, body jump, body jump, everything. Body.
There and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Sujurong?
Su? Oh, Su.
Hawk 2.
He said valid votes count.